Heyo everybody, Haku here with the next part of our Mahou Shoujo Ikusei Keikaku, or Magical Girl Raising Project episodes read-through, and the next one is Cherna Christmas. And I'm quite excited for this one, because Cherna is one of those characters, I guess sort of like Akane, or even Masked Wonder, where we really didn't see much of their actual personality or thoughts or anything like that. Basically, we just saw her get big and smash shit. So yeah, it'll be interesting to learn more about who Cherna really is. And yeah, hopefully my voice sticks with me throughout all this, because I did record 3 reviews earlier. So hopefully my voice sticks around throughout the entirety of the video. But let's see what we get. Cherna Christmas. This story takes place just before Magical Girl Raising Project restart. To become a magical girl, the only thing you need is magical potential. Intelligence, kindness, courage, humbleness, physical and mental strength, all of that comes later. It wasn't a necessary condition for being selected as a magical girl. Conversely, since magical potential was a vague, unquantifiable thing, then anyone could become a magical girl. Neither age, gender, nor race mattered, and while it's rare, sometimes even bigger barriers could be crossed. There were 2 kinds of croquettes in the Takanaka meat shop. Regular croquettes were, I believe that's croquette and not croquet, because I'm pretty sure croquet is the sport, croquette is the food, so I'm going to go with croquette, but I could be incorrect, just prefacing this. Regular croquettes were 100 yen. Burnt, crisped, or failed croquettes were 50 yen. They'd been selling 50 yen croquettes ever since the owner's son came home from Tokyo, making stressful students and salarymen quite happy. They often called the normal croquettes fancy croquettes, while they called the failed croquettes normal croquettes, preferentially buying one over the other. Takanaka Meat Shop's croquettes were cheap, had good taste, and had lots of ground beef. Their crust was crispy, and more importantly, they had good volume. Recently, there were days where failed croquettes didn't come. "Looks like his son's getting better," they said as they sadly bought the fancy croquettes, meaning it was lucky that Tomoki Tatehara was able to buy 6 50 yen croquettes. Hearing Tatehara, that sounds familiar. Either way, however, Tomoki didn't think he was that lucky. Sitting on the park bench and sighing out, like a salaryman in those drama shows or manga who couldn't tell his family how he'd been laid off, so he just sits around the park. It was all Tomoki's sister's fault. She should have gone straight home after the club, but she came home an hour late. He knew why. Baseball. His sister didn't do any baseball, but after school she always went to watch the baseball game. So Tatehara, was that Tatehara Chico? Was that Pechka? I'm not exactly sure, but the name does sound familiar. Okay. Tomoki's older sister became interested in watching baseball ever since she entered middle school. She was probably influenced by someone in middle school then. Before that, Tomoki's sister never even mentioned baseball, nor has he heard her say it even once. When her sister entered in middle school, he thought that she was like an elementary schooler who mistakenly put on a middle schooler's uniform. This kind of middle schooler would be bullied, he thought worryingly. If he thought about her now, he was already worried. His sister didn't play any baseball, she only watched. Ever since he noticed it, he had no idea what she was thinking of that penetrated her hobby reading heart, but to Tomoki it was just annoying. He made a promise with his sister to take turns being the caretaker of their house, but since she was late, Tomoki's vacation was ruined. Now he was pedaling his bike full speed to see if he might still make it to the game shop, but he arrived 30 minutes late. The trading card tournament had already started. His friends were having fun attacking and taking damage. The winner today was supposed to be given a promotional card. What a bad way to start my winter break. It's all her stupid fault. Stupid, 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 stupid. No matter how many times he insults his sister, he can't turn back time. Neither his friends nor the shop were at fault here, but watching the tournament even longer would just hurt him even more. He rode his bicycle and returned the way he came. It was a waste of time. He was irritated by how his actions led to nothing. Since the road was rough, his handles pulled His handles pulled a telephone pole, which caused him to fall, making him even more frustrated. That was the moment he noticed the smell of croquettes from Takanaka Meat Shop. To a fourth-grade elementary schooler, Sunday afternoon was the time when they were most hungry. He saw a bunch of fancy croquettes piled up next to the normal croquettes. The tournament participation money was still in his wallet. Maybe eating some would provide him with a distraction. He hasn't eaten Takanaka's croquettes in a long time. If he missed out now, he didn't know how long it would be until he could eat his normal croquettes once again. With that thought in his head, as soon as he realized it, he's bought 6 croquettes, sitting in a park bench holding the brown oily paper bag in his hands. The end of the year is nearby. It's only been 2 days since winter break. Obviously, it was cold. If he ate at home, he figured the food would be warm, but when he thought of his sister, he became furious. Why did he have to see his sister's face when he's eating anyway? He should eat it before he got home. Right now, his friends were playing card games. They probably wouldn't notice that Tomoki wasn't there. He could easily imagine the stupefied conversation they'd have after the tournament ended. Something like, "Oh yeah, what happened to Tatahara today?" Ah, dang it. He crumpled the wrapping paper with force, opening his mouth as much as he could to chew the croquettes. Just before he could chew it, he heard a large noise. It seemed to be coming from below the earth. It was heavy, loud, and made him shudder. The sound of stomach rumbling. It wasn't Tomoki's. Even if his stomach were to make a noise, it wouldn't sound like a large carnivore's growl. His eating was interrupted. He pulled the croquettes from his teeth and looked around the park. The slide, the swings, the monkey bars, the jungle gym. There was no one here. There wasn't even a stray cat. From there, he moved his eyesight to the fountain under the street lights, and as he looked up, he found it. There was a figure on the street. His eyes weren't deceiving him. It was a human figure. It was on top of the street light, about 5 meters from the ground. The figure jumped off, landing without a sound. She was staring at Tomoki, a girl. Was she like his sister, or was she in high school? He couldn't see it from her looks alone. She looked fluffy and soft. She had round ears. There was a shoulder where something with cat marks. Her costume looked like a mouse, yet her head was exposed. Tomoki looked at her face and pulled back. It wasn't because her face was scary, nor was it because she was a stranger. Her place was amazingly well organized. The pink-colored hair strands flowed from her clothes like smooth fluid. She had a large white cloth bag on her right hand, something like Santa Claus would have. She had power in her eyes. She watched Tomoki without even blinking once, and she looked at Tomoki's hand. That's when he realized it as he looked at his hand. He raised the croquette and tilted his head. The girl nodded furiously many times over, as if she wanted to eat the croquette. Tomoki offered the croquette nervously, and the girl got closer before biting the croquette. She also bit the hand holding the croquette, and Tomoki screamed. Let me grab some water really quick right here. It smelled really good, so I thought it'd be delicious. After I ate it, it really was delicious. The girl ate Tomoki's croquette in an instant, taking away his wrapping bag and eating everything inside, before bowing down and thanking a shocked Tomoki. Tomoki leered at the girl who was rubbing her tummy and sitting on the bench. He's already forgotten about the pain on his hand. Cherna's nose is good, so there's no mistaking it. So your name's Cherna. Cherna's Cherna, right? Who are you? I'm Tomoki Tatehara. She's probably older than him, so he should use polite language, but what kind of person was she? He still didn't understand her. Was Cherna her name? Was this one of those weird one-word names that people gave their kids nowadays? No, she's probably not even Japanese. Her facial features definitely didn't look Japanese. It's probably not even her real name. Maybe it was a character's name or her stage name. When he looked at her close again, she looked like some kind of street musician or a comedian or some idol. It's a weird way for a street musician, comedian, or idol to dress, I suppose. So once more, he felt like it's probably your stage name. Cherna was very hungry, so it's okay. Yeah, I guess you could say that, but it's not just Cherna who's hungry. Oh, is that so? Cherna's family is all hungry too. From there, Cherna began to explain everything. Her Japanese was a little off, so her name probably wasn't a stage name, but it was a foreigner's name, thought Tomoki. Cherna had a family, friends who were from the same hometown she was. but they were all over Japan. Since a strong leader had an obligation to nourish their family, Cherna, who was stronger than anyone, had an obligation to nourish everyone. She used the English family this whole time. It would directly translate to your biological family in Japanese, so having to collect food and feed her entire family all over Japan, did she have a big family? Was she someone who was struggling? He couldn't understand anything she was saying, but she didn't seem to be lying, bragging, nor was she delusional. So pretty much she just stole all this kid's food. I'd be like, yo, why'd you just walk up and steal all my food? Also, there's a special day that's coming up. A special day. On that day, you see, the leader has to go to the family's places, and they gotta bring gifts. If they can't bring a better present than usual, then they gotta stop being leader. Christmas? New Year's? It seemed like she was talking about one of them. That's why. Cherna took Tomoki's hand, tightly gripping it. He felt a slight warmth that didn't disappear easily, even in the autumn breeze. It felt soft. Her skin felt smooth. Tomoki's heart rate steadily rose. Blood arose into his head. Let's go find something delicious. Cherna took Tomoki's hand and ran off. Her momentum was enough to pull Tomoki with her. Wait, stop! She stopped. He tried to stop as well, but thanks to inertia, his body lurched before being caught by Cherna. He felt something softer than her palms. Why stop? Tomoki shook himself off from the soft thing that caught him. What do you mean? Look for delicious food. Where are we supposed to find that? Whoever made the thing that Cherna ate last time. Cherna wants more. It was delicious, so tell Cherna where to go. Well, I don't have any money left. Why? What do you mean, why? She had a surprised look on her face. Tomoki's an adult, so Tomoki needs to be more responsible. I'm not an adult, I'm a kid. I'm still in elementary school. Huh? Still a kid? She had a surprised look on her face again. It seems he wasn't able to meet Cherna's expectations, so he felt bad, but no matter how you think about it, Tomoki wasn't an adult. Objectively speaking, Tomoki shouldn't look like anything but an elementary schooler. Okay, a kid, huh? Don't have any of that delicious stuff? Oh, yeah, not anymore. That's fine, let's look for more. Before he could even say huh, his hand was already grabbed and pulled away. She knew he was a kid, and he already told her that he didn't have any more croquettes, so he thought she'd just dismiss him. For some reason that gave him a strange feeling of regret, and he thought he'd just say goodbye here, go back home, and talk to his sister about this weird girl I met earlier. So, why was Tomoki still following Cherna around? Wonder if there are any convenience stores or restaurants. I know where they are, but do you have any money? Want to sneak in or search through the trash? Which one's better? I don't think you can do either, actually. Cherna can't? You can't. Okay, since it's a special gift, it can't just be the usual food. Is that what Tomoki's saying? Sure, let's go with that. I sent out a questionnaire to everyone. I asked them, what do you want? What did they say? Something about wanting to try cat meat. That's a bit, Oh, and something else about wanting to slice up the musician with 1,000 cuts. What does that mean exactly? That sounds very much like something Akane would say. A kid from my family lives in a hospital. She said there was a new patient girl there. Cherna doesn't get it. Does Tomoki get it? So new patient. That is definitely hold on. What's her face? That's definitely Melville. So wait. No. New patient in the hospital. That's a girl. This all feels connected. It feels like my brain is just on the edge of this. Something about wanting to slice up the musician is definitely, that's definitely Akane. Something about cat meat I don't quite get. New patient girl is certainly, that's Melville. But also, didn't they say that Clamberry was in the hospital at one point and was attacked by Akane? So is the new patient girl actually Cranberry? Clamberry? Okay, let's keep reading. But this all feels connected in the weirdest way. And if so, why does Cherna know Akane and also know Melville? I mean, Melville makes sense because they were friends inside the game when Restart started, so her knowing her beforehand makes sense. But why would she know Akane beforehand and not say anything? That's weird. Either way, I don't get it either. Why are you naked? Cherna's covered in sweat from running around, so Cherna thought to take a bath first. Isn't it cold? Ah, right, Cherna has no fur right now. It'll probably be cold, right? Well, yeah, probably. Tomoki's smart. Thanks. Hide. What's wrong? Look at that person. That grandma, the one wearing a rosy corsage? That person's super strong, so we gotta be careful. The grandma? Cherna knows her. Cherna knows you shouldn't go against the person wearing flowers. Cherna doesn't really remember the details, but Cherna's felt something like that before. Okay, so she knows don't go against the person wearing flowers. That would be Cranberry, right? I don't really get it, but okay. By the way, why are you dressed like that, Cherna? Shh, don't ask about this. Huh? What's wrong? If anyone tries to find out Cherna's identity, Cherna will make them disappear. Okay? Wait, where are you going? That guy told Cherna he'll give whatever Cherna wants if Cherna follows him. No, you can't follow strangers for that reason, Cherna. Wait, don't go, police. He was being dragged all over the city. Cherna was trying to do illegal things, and Tomoki would desperately try to stop her. Even just looking at her made her stand out. There'd probably be rumors about Tomoki tomorrow. They've been to many places, and there was no proper way to get Cherna the food she wanted. The reason was simple. Cherna and Tomoki had no money. The two of them returned to the park where they met before, sitting side by side on the bench while remaining silent. It's already getting late. He couldn't tell if it was just him losing heart or the weather actually got colder. Was it just his imagination, or was it actually cold? Maybe it's both. He became saddened. Under this cold air he had no idea what he was doing. As he emptily looked beside him, Cherna was hanging her head. Although it was dark, Tomoki panicked as he saw the light in her eyes still as bright as ever. Are you okay? Cherna couldn't find any presents. Was Cherna just like his sister? Even if she was older, she was desperately trying to feed her starving family. She shed tears and endured her helplessness. Despite having some sense of brashness, she also had an innocent side, these tears. What a destructive force. The tears pierced into Tomoki's heart. Cherna was crying. Tomoki felt something from behind his throat, hot and dark words that couldn't come out. What are you doing? Someone shouted out. This isn't the time to be standing around, they shouted again. And now we see them sitting on the bench with Cherna crying. Poor Cherna! I'm really, I've liked every single episode. They've all been really... Okay, the Akane one was a little bit confusing most of the time reading it. I think it was like the structure of it. It was just weird to read. But other than that, all of them have been great and I've really enjoyed them. I like that illustration. As he was thrusted by that person's voice, Tomoki got up. Wait here, I'll be back soon. So, hold on, the voice made him think something. Are we bringing Noko into this? I have no clue. Or Noko's mom is in the hospital, is that what they're talking about from earlier? So confusing. Wait here, I'll be back soon. Tomoki rode on his bike and furiously pedaled. Soon he arrived at his house. He placed his bicycle on the front door, kicking off his shoes, and headed for the kitchen. This isn't the time for him to worry about his parents getting angry. He took out the garbage can from his drawer. He removed all the food from the fridge, freezer, cabinets, and stuffed it into the bag. What are you doing? He heard the voice of his sister from behind him, but right now that wasn't important. He continued packing. Hey, what are you doing? Just pack. Wait, Tomoki. Don't try to stop me. I need food. You'll get in trouble, you know. It's fine. He ignored his sister who tried to stop him. The end of the year is drawing near, and there were starving children that needed to be fed. There's a girl running around town trying to find presents to make a feast for those children, so what's wrong with him trying to do his best to help her? As he continued shouting while packing, he finally wrapped the mouth of his bag. 1.5 45-liter bags. This wasn't much, but this is all Tomoki could do. He turned around and headed back to Cherna with a bag on his back. But then Tomoki's sister came around with a bigger bag. Sis? Yeah, here, take this. There was a mountain of crispy food in front of Tomoki. He'd probably need 5 or 6 more 45-liter bags to carry this. Sis, what's all this? I don't really know. If there's someone in trouble, then I gotta help them, right? So it is Petchka. That's so cute. Petchka and her brother are the ones that fed, Cherna. I don't really know. If there's someone in trouble, then I gotta help him, right? There's some lobster and grilled pork belly mixed in here. Where'd you get this? Oh, don't worry about that. Come on, go give this to him. Okay, thank you. This was the first time he thanked his sister in years. This was truly a grateful thank you that he did. He's probably never even realized it before. The two of them gathered up the food and placed it on the rear car that his grandpa used for work. It was heavy, so he was glad the car was there. Amazing, amazing. Looking at the large amount of food ingredients spilling out of the bags, Cherna jumped as if she were dancing. Her cheeks were loose with happiness. She opened the mouth of the bag and began to eat the roasted turkey. Wait a minute, Cherna, you can't eat all that. This is all I have. Oh, that's right. Cherna's bad. It's just so delicious. Cherna closed the mouth of the bag, hanging the bags one by one from the rear car with her fingers, using both her hands to lift them all. It should be a lot of weight for a finger, but she didn't even look pained at all, though she looked delighted with a full smile. Thank you, Tomoki. No problem. It's no big deal. When Tomoki grows up, Tomoki can be part of Cherna's family. Ahaha, thanks a lot. Cherna and Tomoki will make a lot of babies and raise them. As if Cherna was holding on to nothing, she jumped from the fence to the rooftops. Tomoki waved his hands and smiled as Cherna disappeared behind the rooftops. Babies? He felt like she said something outrageous to him just then. Anna furrowed her eyes as she looked at her room's baffling situation. A window that should have been locked yet somehow was half open. Also, her cute pet hamster, whose name was Tama-chan, had an object that she didn't even remember putting in there. Tama-chan was desperately biting it. Having no idea what it was, she took it out of the cage, only to find it was a giant lobster. Why? Even if she asked, there was no answer. Anna loved the Japanese culture. Her friends had called her a weeaboo for a long time, and when she was chosen to be a magical girl, she chose a Japanese-style name, and chose an appearance that was a Japanese shrine maiden. But not even Anna could give a lobster to her hamster. Where would she even get lobster in the first place? Did a thief come in and put the head of a lobster? That was unnatural. I've been a good girl, so maybe Santa decided to give a present. Tama-chan screamed out her chews from inside the cage. That is so sad. Because remember, Miyakata mentioned Tama-chan, and Tama-chan was Cherna, and they met each other and didn't even know. So they didn't even know each other as magical girls. And it seems as though she didn't feed Anna, who was the weeb. Tama-chan didn't even feed Anna. So that means Tama did go to the hospital and feed Akane, Melville, and Clamberry? And I'm still wondering what happened at that hospital, because Melville did say Clamberry was attacked by Akane when she was in the hospital. So that means at some point, Clamberry was in the hospital to begin with, which means that somebody in one of her tests must have kicked her ass around a little bit. So Clamberry was in the hospital. There was a new girl. Akane knew Cherna as well. So I guess Cherna just went around meeting people that were in former tests and considered them her family. So that's who she was feeding? It's so many questions. I really, really loved this. And I loved that it brought up so many questions, because that means I still hope that someday in the future we get that scene with what happened in the hospital and we get all that explained. So yeah, I'd love to see more side stories with all these characters. Man, that was really, really, really good. So yeah, either way, I guess that's your normal read through for an episode. It's a bit different than reading through from the main books, but either way, that's it. So this will be up Wednesday. Next one, I actually don't know. I have to work Saturday, but I don't know how long I'm going to work. It shouldn't have. I'm gonna say it shouldn't affect the next one, and the next episode read through should be up Saturday. But if I post it Friday a little bit early, or maybe if I post it Sunday, then the reason is because I had to work. But yeah, either way, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there and tell me what you thought of this episode, what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe for more Magical Girl Raising Project, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I'll try to keep you updated there and stuff at the channel. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.